Hi, I'm Michael Allison. I'm the Commercial Director for Roma Finance, and thank you for joining us for another edition of Roma Talks. Joining me today is one of our good friends, Sean Holston, from one of our premier partnerships that we have at Roma with the NFB, or National Federation of Builders. So, Sean, how are you? You okay?
I'm all right, thanks, Michael. Yeah, doing really well. How are
Good.
you?
Do you know what? I'm doing okay. Thank you very much for asking. You're the first person to ask all year.
Oh,
Well done.
gutting.
So, before we go into Roma and the NFB and all the stuff that happens, tell me a bit about yourself first.
Yeah, so my name's Sean. I'm the Membership Services Manager at the NFB. I've been at the NFB since November last year, and in that time, it's been a whirlwind. We've done so many new things. The industry, it's tough. I think that's a secret. It is quite tough out there. So we are doing more and more new things to support our members. So yeah, it's been a pretty hectic 6 months really.
And what was you doing before that 6 months? What was your?
I actually worked for a developer before that.
Wow.
So I was in their stakeholder engagement team, supporting with planning applications, engaging with all the consultees we've got to. So I've sort of gone from, development to construction, and kept a few of the friends along the way as well.
Wow, so you're stepping into a world that you're well rounded at, and actually you've probably stood in the shoes of quite a few people that you speak to, I guess.
I think so, yeah, I think so. And that helps as well when we're talking to members, knowing what their issues are and what they're talking about. And it's nice that they've got a person who knows what they're on about.
Yeah, people want experience sometimes. They want to learn from what you've got wrong in the past, unfortunately, and how you've navigated that.
Exactly. And that's the key thing I think about a trade federation,
Yeah.
is that everybody's in it together. You're all learning from each other. You're all talking about the same issues, the same opportunities as well. And right now, more than ever, it's so important that we're all just in it together.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of our key things when it comes to relationships at Roma, our lens has always been, you've got to add value to each other. And you should no longer, not just be the one who's always taking the opportunities. You've got to have value back in, whether that's experience, whether it's introductions to other people. I think you've always got to put more into a relationship than you expect to get out.
Oh, definitely.
That way you'll never be disappointed, but now will the other person.
Yeah, definitely. And it comes back to that point about added value. It's so important that you all realise, post-COVID, economy is quite tough right now, that you just realise the value you're getting from a relationship and that you're contributing as well in that partnership. I think it's so important.
Brilliant. Okay. So you mentioned a few things and the NFB are doing. So tell me a bit more about the NFB and then let's drill into some of those key things that you're doing.
So the NFB is the foremost building federation in the UK. We serve builders, contractors, house builders across England and Wales, and really our sort of bread and butter is services, standards and advocacy. So in that services element, we offer sort of knowledge and advice to our members. We've got opportunities for them to get jobs and talk to each other. In the standards element, we've got, purely by being a member of the NFB, you already adhere to a certain standard. So that all the consumers you're working with know that by having that badge on your van, having the badge on your letterhead, that you meet our standards. And we're expanding that more and more every year. And then the advocacy bit. Now, we've got a fantastic policy team. Now, the policy team do work that goes straight over my head. I've got no idea some of the stuff they talk about, but we've got a great team who are always down in Westminster, always talking to politicians locally and nationally, talking to stakeholders to try and make the sort of the construction environment as good as it can be for our members. And that's what it's all about, really, is all those sort of three aspects I talked about. It's just making it just as good as we can for our construction members.
Wow, and there's never been a time more needed than now.
Exactly.
So how, obviously, I think you touched on it there, and I think it's right for us just to bring it back round. The economy has been difficult. Obviously, the exits that people have faced when they've built a product has been difficult. The procurement process has been difficult. What challenges have you seen specifically for builders that over the course of, let's say, the last 2 years?
Yeah, so I think like you talk about sort of the exit of people really from the industry.
Right.
A lot of retirements post-COVID, a lot of people who realise, and actually it's tough. And is it worth it staying in construction? My view, yeah, completely.
Same.
Good, but is it making them as much as they're putting into it? So that's the big issue right now, is people leaving the industry, but also getting people in. It's like that sort of dripping bucket, really. You've got less water going in, more dripping out, because there's just this skills gap that's presented itself post-COVID. We're getting less and less apprentices come forward, and it's just not meeting the sort of the refill rate really for the industry. So skills is definitely an issue, and then also, and this is why I'm glad that we're partnering with you, but access to that finance and access to money itself. And cash to inject into their projects. You've got obviously partnerships with the likes of Homes England, but I think normal lending providers, the big banks, they don't know really how it works at this local level. They don't. They like to think they know about construction development finance, but they don't, and that's why I think it's important to partner with yourselves at Roma, because you know what our members are working on, what they're doing, and how it all works.
I think it's the SME builders that are shouldering the house building problem at this moment in time in the UK, and we've always been a big advocate. We've got 3 borrower personas, and one of those has always been that small SME builder, or somebody who's working in the tools already, who want to take that steps themselves and go from being a contractor to a developer, go from being a builder to a developer. So some really successful projects with ex-scaffolders. Carpenters seem to do really well, I think, because they see it at all phases. But we've seen a real rise in that persona, but nobody wants to give them a chance because they haven't got that provability of the past, have they?
Completely spot on. And it's that growth element, like you say, that you're starting out sort of one-man army really, and trying to move up and grow your business. And if you don't have people you can rely on to support your projects financially, then you're just hitting the wall. And that's unfortunately where we're at right now.
Yeah, and these aren't the biggest schemes. They're not the most costliest schemes. But if you get that relationship right and you work with the right people, this time in 2 years, they will be.
Yeah.
And as we grow as a business, we've seen some of our customers, grow and flourish along our growth trajectory as well, where we started off with maybe a conversion was the first thing that they did.
Yep.
And now they are doing, ground up developments. And I think that there needs to be more support for those people. And I think the work that you guys are doing by building that community, you have to adhere to a standard so it becomes an aspirational piece, but then build that community where people can be. And we're just proud to be part of that community and to bring you into ours as well.
Yeah, no, definitely.
That's key.
And it's about working together completely. Comes back to that point I made before, and what you just said is community, that we're all working together. We're all trying to achieve the same thing and just build our communities, our country, and just make homes for people. And what can you argue against that? It's the top priority, I think, for our members right now.
Absolutely, and it's clear you're very passionate about it as well, which again, when you think about a trade body or a passion's not normally top of the list, but you can see with the NFB, there's a real swell to say we want the best for our members, which obviously we echo as well. So obviously we talked about what's not been so great over the past few years. What opportunities do you see on the horizon?
Oh, that's a really good one. So opportunities, obviously, we've got an election this year. So there's a lot of opportunities for our members to feed into how they see development looking. And our policy team are doing a lot on how we can really reform the planning system just to make it so much easier for our members to get stuff through and to build. So opportunities I think we see is that there's it'll be hopefully quicker to get things built. Lots of opportunities. As I said, with skills, I think that the new qualifications that are coming forward will bring a whole new tranche of young people into construction. Apprenticeships, although I said there's sort of a bit of a gap, I think over the next couple of years we're going to see more employers embracing apprenticeships and seeing that as a way to get young and passionate people about construction into the industry. And I think as well, and it comes back to our partnership with you, I think that there's lots of opportunities to work together to really to think about some creative and bespoke finance solutions.
Yeah, that's great. So one of the things we are seeing is a real drive for improvements in the environment. Are you seeing many modern methods of construction being utilised?
Massively. They're so keen on it. I was actually with a member yesterday who had previously worked on residential, moved into the commercial sphere, and were actually developing passive offices.
Wow.
Now, I've heard of passive houses before,
Yeah.
and they're supposed to sort of save on your energy bills and that sort of stuff. But passive offices with solar, nice big windows, really efficient, and just looked, from the plans I saw, a really nice place to work. So 100%, they are just embracing it.
Fantastic. Listen, thank you very much for coming
you.
to see us today. And we're looking forward to continuing to work on what has become already a really strong partnership.
Definitely.
And thanks everyone else for joining us this week. And we'll speak to you again soon. Thank you.